Hello, boys and girls. We haven't seen you in a while, have we? Well, I've been collecting quite a lot of things, just taking a while for some of them to show up, but now they are in such a place where I can show them off to you all, so how about that? But, Ash just wanted to say hello to everybody. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we? So we're gonna be a little crazy today. Normally I do these according to where I bought the movies from, the store, but today we're gonna do it just in whatever order I feel like doing it. And before I do that, though, I want to show you the other beautiful boy. This is Erebus. His belly's shaved there because he got neutered the other day, but he's also a good boy. He's just a little bit camera shy, unlike his brother. But just wanted to show him off to you all because you haven't gotten a chance to see him. So yeah, we're just gonna go a bit crazy here. So we're gonna go roughly alphabetically. So we're gonna start off with a Dollar Tree pickup at the Gate of the Ghost, which I have not seen, and it is sealed still. It's a martial arts film. Some of these things I'm gonna leave sealed until I actually watch them, just because if they're sealed, then they're worth more if I should ever want to or need to sell them. And oh, by the way, you see I have two black cats, and I am embracing the existential dread, as we all should. Anyway, another Dollar Tree pickup on DVD, Being Elmo, which I have seen this. It's a fabulous documentary. Highly recommend it. Unfortunately, this was right before Kevin Clash, famously had the ousting from Sesame Street due to having had, I guess, inappropriate relations with an underage boy or something. I can't remember exactly what the final result of that was, I don't know, but I know that he's done other puppetry things since then, like in the Happy Time Murders and stuff like that. So he's still doing stuff, but this is a great documentary, especially for anybody that really wants to learn more about the art of puppetry. Highly recommend it. And I'm a big Elmo fan, so there you go. Anyway, this is the one that I was waiting for it to arrive because it was coming all the way from Calgary, Alberta, and it was not gonna come quickly. But it was Brightburn, or see, it's from Alberta there, so it's L'Enfant du Mal, I believe, is the French title pronunciation, with the slipcover, which is not easy to find, but this was one that I still haven't seen, but it's something that when I heard about it, I remembered really wanting to see it because I thought it seemed like it was, an evil Superman. Basically, that's what it was about. And it was written by Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, brothers of James Gunn, partially produced by James Gunn. And so, how about that? In the back of this thing, it says a chilling anti-superhero tale, and I just like the idea of evil Superman, and there have been a lot of evil Supermen in DC Comics, let alone, pastiches of Superman, all that stuff, so it's just kind of cool to see an original one on the big screen, and I love the cover. I like that it's horror-related, but like a horror superhero film, but I have not watched it yet, but I really want to watch it, so there you go. And then this is Second and Charles pickup here. Was the 1964 Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor and Rex Harrison, Richard Burton. This film was widely regarded as having effectively killed the traditional studio system because of its humongous, costly overruns and temperamental stars and, all kinds of budget inflations. And, it was super long, super bloated. It just... it's a little bit like modern day, how like Justice League, the original, the theatrical version, the Whedon version as that has now been called, how like that thing was like $300 million and it, got reshot to hell and, people didn't like it when it came out and that kind of stuff. It's kind of a similar situation, but like the 1964 equivalent of like temperamental stars and just humongous excess, and it was not very well regarded at the time, I guess, although it did get, or rather I should say it was polarizing, because it did get a lot of Oscar nominations. It was just, it wasn't quite the mega blockbuster that the studio was hoping for, except that it has kind of gone on to become a classic in its own right. I grew up with this movie, and I remembered loving it. It's really long. It's on Blu-ray, but it spans 2 discs. But I mean, I think it's a great film. I just haven't watched it in such a long time. But I know that this film, and now again, we're kind of jumping around a bit. It's not quite in chronological, or rather, it's not in alphabetical order. But just wanted to bring up something else that came out at around the same time. This was 1962, that also ran into some similar problems to this, which was the 1962 Mutiny on the Bounty with Marlon Brando, which I've also not seen, but this was actually something I picked up today with store credit at Second and Charles. But this film, I know Marlon Brando was very temperamental, and he kind of had a bad reputation because he was such a kind of a prima donna, kind of a diva on set. But again, when he brought it, he could bring it spectacularly. It was just one of those things where he was really being kind of a spoiled child on this film, and apparently he kept putting on weight. He kept splitting his pants that he was wearing in this, driving the costumers crazy, and it was just, well, again, massive budget overruns and that kind of stuff. But again, a lot of Oscar nods, including Best Picture. So, this is back in the day when bad press didn't necessarily have to sink the movie, at least not critically or around award season. But anyway, just thought I would show those off because they're kind of thematically connected and around the same time. Similar things that afflicted it, and this one too. And then also, similar to each other, we have 1-season-long TV shows on NBC that were relatively recent. Dracula, the NBC Dracula with the slipcover, which is not easy to find. I had to find this on eBay, and it was like $25, which is more than I wanted to pay for it. But at the same time, I remember seeing the pilot of this when I was in college, and I never got past the pilot, but I remembered loving what I saw in the pilot, and I wanted to finish it, and because I saw the pilot on NBC's website, and I really wanted to finish it, and I never did. So now I have the chance to, because I know that this is like dropping the movies here, but this is kind of a new take on the Dracula mythos, with like Dracula posing as an American industrialist, which is kind of cool in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. I remembered liking what I saw, so I just want to finish it. And then similarly, I did not watch this show, but I heard about it, which was Emerald City. I feel bad because they both say season 1, and these were the only seasons that they had, so, sorry to say, but yeah, this was the Oz TV show that was, I guess, NBC's attempt to try to do a Game of Thrones-esque TV show, but on network television and not on, not on HBO, and with a public domain property, which you would think more people would do things with the Oz books and the Oz world because they are public domain books. But yeah, I just wanted to see what they would do with it. And it's also, every episode was directed by Tarsem Singh, who did one of my favorite movies, The Cell. So yeah, interesting to, I'm very interested to see what he does with his visual eye that's so great. And then this was a rebuy at Dollar Tree, but it was High Plains Invaders. I sold the other one that I had, but I managed to get it back for cheap, but I'll leave it sealed just until I decide to watch it. But I love the slip there on DVD. And then, again, we're going to jump around a bit here, and you'll understand why. Because I decided to get my Lynch on. That's right, my David Lynch. This was from Amazon. My third favorite David Lynch film behind Eraserhead and The Elephant Man at number 1, is Lost Highway. And this was the first David Lynch film I ever saw. I love the soundtrack. This is like a who's who of 90s music. So it's got like David Bowie, Nine Inch Nails, Smashing Pumpkins, Marilyn Manson, Rammstein, the score by Angelo Badalamenti, of course. It's just like a who's who of who was great in the 90s. And this film is shot in color, but was apparently originally supposed to be in black and white. And it definitely looks like it when you watch the movie. You're like, yeah, if you just desaturated the color, this would work as a black and white film noir movie. But yeah, this was the first David Lynch film I ever saw. It really, really left an impression on me. I still absolutely love it every time I watch it. And it actually makes a lot of sense relative to some other things that I've been diving into recently, which we will get to a little bit later. But yeah, I just wanted this in my collection for such a long time because it is highly, highly up there on my favorite films list. And yeah, I can't get enough of it. And but why did I jump around? Well, you'll see why. So I've been getting my Lynch on in the form of some Twin Peaks action. That's right. I have the complete series of Twin Peaks, and as you can see, this is the Canadian version here with the French title underneath, or the French language for the complete series there. But yeah, I have been really trying to get through all of Twin Peaks. It's taken me a couple of attempts to get through it, but I went and got this set because this has the Showtime Season 3, the revival series, and I got it with the slipcover. Now, Paramount, CBS, Showtime, they're all part of Viacom. They've been putting out a lot of their shows, like their back catalog, in these massive, these same cases. Doesn't matter if it's DVD, Blu-ray, they put them out that way, and they're very space-saving, as you can see, but they do tend to, like, double stack discs on top of each other, and so, it's space-saving, and it's economical for them, and it's just a standardized kind of way to do it. Not always the easiest to get them out and to remember where you are, especially because the episode count here is the way that they divide up the episodes is with the series as a whole, so you can't go to like season 2 episode 1. It would be episode like 9 at that point, so it does the episode count in terms of the whole show. But yeah, I'm in season 2 now. If you know about the show, you know that they were pressured to reveal who killed Laura Palmer earlier than they wanted to, and so kind of the rest of that season, they're just sort of trying to figure out where to take the show, and it definitely feels like it. But I am trying to, get through it all, because, being a David Lynch fan, it's like I gotta do Twin Peaks. It was always such a commitment to do, but, I'm working my way through. Now, this does not include Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, so I got that from Amazon. This was eBay, by the way. I got this from Amazon through the Criterion Collection there, and this takes place between season 2, which was at the time the finale, so this was like the prequel / sequel to the show, and then this takes place kind of between season 2 and 3, and apparently season 3 references the movie quite a bit, so have to pay attention to it before diving into the event series, season 3, that was on Showtime. So, know nothing about it other than I know it's a prequel and a sequel to seasons 1 and 2. So, I'll be very interested to see how that goes. And it's funny because the X-Files definitely would not have existed without Twin Peaks. So, Twin Peaks definitely has a place in cultural history and television history. So, there you go. There's your Twin Peaks action for you. And then, rounding out our Lynchian stuff here, we got Wild at Heart, which I have never seen, but I managed to find the Shout Select Blu-ray with the slipcover, which is pretty sweet, and I am going to watch that at some point. But we got some of my favorite people. We got Laura Dern, Nicolas Cage, you got Willem Dafoe's in here, and of course David Lynch. It's like, and I believe this won the Palme d'Or. This was 1990, so that's pretty sweet. Now, jumping back briefly to Lost Highway, I did not know this until relatively recently, but apparently David Lynch was very heavily inspired by the then recent O.J. Simpson murder trial for the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. He was apparently really interested in the subject of the mental gymnastics that one would have to go through to kind of justify to oneself murdering one's wife or ex-wife or whatever, which he obviously was of the opinion that O.J. did it. and that seems to be where just about everybody is these days. But I just found that so interesting because I think the film does make quite a lot of sense when you look at it through that paradigm. And it just so happens that I have gone down that rabbit hole myself in the form of OJ Made in America and The People vs. OJ Simpson American Crime Story. How about that? Starting off with OJ Made in America, this is a documentary that won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature. It's a multi-part documentary. It's the longest film to ever win that particular Oscar. So much so that apparently the Academy changed the rules to where a film that, like a multi-part film or whatever, cannot be eligible again. And this was broadcast on ESPN, but apparently it did get a theatrical release. And so, that's how they were able to make it qualify. But yeah, won the Oscar, and let me tell you, it deserved it. This is an unbelievable documentary, because, and it comes with the DVDs here and the Blu-rays right there. This is an unbelievable documentary because this, like, people have their opinions about the case and about OJ himself and, what should or shouldn't have happened and that kind of stuff. What's so great about this documentary is that it shows you all the angles. It takes into account the racial climate of California and Los Angeles during, like, OJ's childhood and, like, leading up to the murders, during the murders, after the murders, blah blah blah. You see everybody's perspectives. You get all these different insights. It's like there's a exhaustive amount of detail, and you really get a sense of why this case continues to fascinate people. And it's not just a simple case of murder. It's not just a simple case of fame or, a murder getting away with it or whatever. It's a lot more complicated than that. And this is one of the most intelligent examinations of, well, a really fascinating case, but of America, of race, of, how we treat celebrity, our lax attitudes towards domestic violence in this country, or at least, they were more lax back then. Just all these different angles, and it's just exquisitely done. I highly, highly recommend this for the documentary section, but then for the kind of dramatization, the reenactment kind of side of things, we have the miniseries, The People vs. O.J. Simpson. Highly, highly recommend this. This has to have some of the best acting, writing, presentation, accuracy to, like they did the timeline of events here. I mean, this thing deserved all of the praise it got, because this won Best Limited Series at the Emmys, and again, highly deserved. This thing is absolutely spectacular. This is like A+ quality work right here, from everybody. I mean, every person that they cast in this does such a good job as their respective characters, and much like the documentary, there are no easy heroes or villains. Like, nobody's like really demonized or sanctified. Even the people that you like, they have things about them that you really don't like, or you see aspects of a person that it's like maybe we don't approve of those things, but you can understand why they would do that. And they really did a great job with their research, with their characterizations. I mean, I like movies where there aren't really any good guys and bad guys, where everybody's got interests, everybody is kind of sympathetic in their own right, and even OJ in here is sympathetic to a certain degree. But at the same time, everybody is unsympathetic to other degrees, because everybody has things about them that you don't like, or maybe they weren't the smartest decisions, or maybe they were unscrupulous or immoral or whatever. And pretty much every character has something about them that falls in that category, and that's life. Everybody's like that. So I think that both of these things together have got to go on your watch list. Highly recommend these. Couldn't recommend them enough, in fact. And they just so happen to match up with Lost Highway, so how about that? Alright, moving right along. We got ourselves some outrage here. He's outraged. Takeshi Kitano is outraged. And Takeshi Kitano, also known as Beat Takeshi. If you've watched MXC or the original Takeshi's Castle, either one, you'll know who he is. Or if you've seen the JonTron episode Takeshi's Challenge about the video game, then you'll know who Takeshi Kitano is. Leaving this one sealed until I watch it, but I do really want to watch it because it's starring Takeshi Kitano and written, edited, and directed by Takeshi Kitano. And as JonTron said in the episode, he's like, okay, what wasn't this guy? Because he's actor, comedian, writer, director, editor, painter, musician, game show host. It's like there's very little that this guy hasn't done. And I think that's awesome because it means that he's not limited. He just does his thing. I think that's pretty sweet. This one is an Amazon purchase. This is a pre-order, actually. Because I have heard nothing but great things about Raw, which again, I haven't watched it yet, but I am definitely going to watch this. This is all about cannibalism, apparently, and I'm a big fan of cannibalism in fiction. I think it provides a lot of interesting storytelling possibilities, and apparently this film was so raw that apparently people that saw it, they got sick, and a lot of them did. Or they were really upset, and I'm like, good, that must mean it's working. It's effective cinema, so can't wait to dive into that. Another Second and Charles pickup here is Ready or Not with the slipcover, which is not all that easy to find. Samara Weaving film, which I never saw, but I really wanted to see. And you may recall in some of my custom cover printing out videos, there you go. I finally got to work that in. So there you go. I put it on the inside instead because I managed to find it with the slip. I didn't necessarily think I would. But yeah, I've heard good things about this film. Kind of a period horror thriller, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it looked pretty cool to me. And then, I'm going to jump around here. Another Second and Charles pickup is a set that I've been looking for a while, which is the Shark 4-movie collection. We got Sharktopus, Jurassic Shark, Bait, and Jersey Shore Shark Attack, which I almost messed up the title, but I didn't. I caught myself just in time. Yeah, I mean, gotta have more shark movies on Blu-ray in your collection, right? These are up there with Jaws, surely. But yeah, I've been looking for this particular 4-pack. I just didn't expect to find it as cheap as I did. It was like $7 as opposed to like 20, which is what I've seen it go for online. So very thankful to have found that finally. Because, gotta have them shark movies in your collection. And then another Dollar Tree pickup, This Girl is Badass, which you gotta have that in your collection just from the title alone. But again, gonna leave that sealed until I actually watch it. But I mean, come on, This Girl is Badass. How can you not want to watch a movie with that title? I know I do. And then a few more things. This was an Amazon pre-order. The Ten Commandments, the Charlton Heston, Cecil B. DeMille 1956 epic. One of the great. It's kind of funny. This one and the Cleopatra one. This one says the greatest epic of all time, and then meanwhile, this one says one of the grandest cinematic spectacles of all time. And you notice that they just say it on the back. They don't attribute it to anybody, so it's not like it's quoting anybody. They're just saying that about themselves. Although, in both cases, I think that they're both correct. I think they are extremely epic films, and they are magnificent in their own respect. The Ten Commandments, I mean, who hasn't seen this movie at this point? I mean, it's kind of iconic, and it's one of those ones that, anybody that grew up in any kind of, Judeo-Christian tradition surely is familiar with the Moses story and with, its particular significance in the Old Testament and the, parallels to the New Testament, etc. And it's something that they broadcast on TV they usually do it around Easter, which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a masterpiece. It is the Ten Commandments, what more do you have to say? I actually got to see this on the big screen, some years ago, and it was well worth it. But yeah, highly recommend this film. Couldn't recommend it enough, in fact. And then let's end strong, shall we? Got two Best Buy exclusive Steelbooks that I picked up today, one of which is Saving Private Ryan, which I have not had on 4K in my collection for such a long time, but I finally rectified it today. It's considered to be one of Spielberg's best films, and the one that won him his second Best Director Oscar after having won it for Schindler's List in '93, and this was '98. And of course, a standout war film, standout, historical drama, epic film. I mean, it's Saving Private Ryan. What more do I have to say? You've seen it before. You know the story. It's one of your favorite movies. Of course it is. How could it not be? But it's it's a standout for sure. It ranks up there as one of the best war movies ever. Again, it's like, what more could I say about it? It's Saving Private Ryan. You all love it. And finally, without further ado, we have the pièce de résistance, or however you pronounce it, Wonder Woman 1984, the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook there, the Golden Armor, which I have to say I've not watched this movie yet, but I plan to. But I wanted to grab that beautiful Steelbook because I have the Steelbook that Best Buy did for the first one. And yeah, so I had heard that it's very disappointing. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm just trying to get caught up because I watched Birds of Prey some months ago, and I was a little disappointed in that. Like, it wasn't bad, it was just had some things about it that I thought could have been a lot better than they were. Some areas of improvement from Suicide Squad, some areas of not improvement, of like staying the same in a not good way, and then some areas in which they actually got worse. That one was actually worse than Suicide Squad. This one I have heard is disappointing relative to Wonder Woman 1. I'll have to see what I think. I've heard also that it is very much an homage to the Silver Age of comics and Wonder Woman specifically, which it may be, I don't know. But, looking at it through that lens, maybe it'll be enjoyable, I don't know. I'm just trying to get myself caught up for when I eventually see not the Joss Whedon cut, the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League, all 4 hours of it. But looking forward to it. So yeah, that there is Wonder Woman 84. How nice is that? Anyway, hope that was worth the wait. Hope you're doing well. I'm pleased to say that I am doing very well. My life has improved dramatically in these last several weeks, and I'm feeling a lot better about myself and about life, so, just soaking it up. But anyway, hopefully you like that. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, set phasers to stun, warp factor 5. I will see you in the next video, and I'm looking to change my setup here and how I do things, and hopefully, I'll see how that turns out. Just let me know if you like these things and you want me to keep doing them, because admittedly the rate of collecting has slowed down a bit, having to be a responsible adult and raise two beautiful boys. So we'll see, but anyway, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.